That's sending it, but also we're hearing each other. Does that make sense?
So to they actually push it out, but I then thought, is it this
No.
related in any case?
No.
So it's not.
No,
Not even
that's it.
between you two.
No, exactly
Okay.
right.
All right. Okay.
That's all good. So it turned up everything. And that's Nicola.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Welcome to Marconi Stadium. Sounds all good to me.
All good. Yep, and then with me talking there too, Nicola, mile.
Mile.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I'm
Mille, mille.
myself a little bit more.
and giving Christian Bobado a warm Marconi welcome. And ladies and gentlemen, as well, while Christian is here, I'd like to invite Morris Lecarte to say a few words, the president of Marconi.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited. On behalf of the board and members and management, we are so excited to have Christian Bobado here. This player here is one of the best players in the world. For me, he's better than Harry Kuehl. He made a big difference when he came on for Socceroos. And I'd like to wish you all the very best. Well done, Christian. And Christian would like to say a few words. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to say thank you everyone for coming out today. You know, it's really nice being here. Obviously with my ex-club as well, City United, and obviously the team of my heart, the Italians, the Marconi Stallions, so it's a good game, and yeah, thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, not far away now before we get into this huge clash between your Stallions and Sydney United. A big game, that's all here today, so let's have a quick look at the lineups for this afternoon's clash. Let's start with Sydney United, starting at number 1, Adam Bevelicic. Number 2, Julian Cobb. Number 3, the captain, Bailey Rule. Number 6, Dylan Rose. Number 7, Leroy Jennings. Number 10, Carlos De Oliveira. Number 14, Lee McGinn. Number 17, Michael Glassick. Number 21, Koya Nakano. Number 23, Mason Wells. Number 44, Farah Coco. And on the bench for this afternoon's clash, number 4, Adrian Vlastelica. Number 8, Tomoki Wada. Number 9, Carl Cementi. Number 12, Gabriel Tilo. Number 19, Michael Kozovic. Number 35, Tomislav Ozanic. Number 41, Adrian Jamie Berzina. And now, ladies and gentlemen, for this huge clash, this is how your Marconi Stallions will line up for this afternoon's game. Starting at number 1, Joe Wade. Number 2, Tyron Birdie. Number 3, Cameron Windass. Number 4, Anton Mlinaric. Number 5, George Daniel. Number 7, Franco Maya. Number 8, James Bayless. Number 9, Damien Seguenas. Number 10, your skipper, Marco Jesic. Number 14, Jack Armson. Number 23, Quinton Blair. And on the bench for this afternoon's clash, starting at number 11, Mate Busek. Number 12, Julian Monge. Number 16, Luca Bacora. Number 17, Sunday Yona. Number 19, Ahmad El Hanou. Number 27, Antonio Marvello. And number 40, Aaron Hayes. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to welcome out both sides to the pitch. The away team, Sydney United, 58 FC, and your home team, the Marconi Stallions.
Good afternoon, everybody, and a very warm welcome to a day of Premiership consequence at the Palace. Marconi Stadium, standing resplendent on Sunday afternoon for the latest Fairfield derby. Sydney United 58 visiting the table-topping Marconi Stallions. Premiership won't be decided today, but Marconi could make themselves heavy favourites with 3 points here against their old rivals. The New South Wales Premiership, a piece of silverware still missing from their very, very rich trophy cabinet. Their last loss in league football 14 games ago in their meeting with this opposition down the road from here on Easter Monday. And so for United, a chance to play spoiler and also to do their league double over their fierce rivals for the first time in the NPL era. Anything less than a victory here and their own outside chance of topping the table is all but gone for another year. My name's Alex Molchanoff, delighted to be alongside you on the Football New South Wales YouTube channel, alongside me in commentary today, as he is for the big ones, Nicola Posda. How do you see this one playing out?
Yeah, Molchi, I think we're in for a real good clash here between two of the arguably best sides in the competition, along with RPL Leichhardt. We've seen what Sydney United has done to Marconi this year already. Only one of two teams to have beaten them in the league. They'll be looking to do that again, and like you said, put themselves back in the shout for the Premiership, although it may be a bit of a far-fetched attempt, but still, where there's hope, they'll always want to give it a crack.
4 points with 6 games to go. Funnier things have happened. Let's check the team news as Marco Jesic and Bailey Rule come together with the officials. Just one change for Marconi. Tenqual away on an A-League trial with the Brisbane Roar. So in from suspension comes Anton Lenaric in the heart of defence. Joel Wade, the goalkeeper. TJ Burney, Cam Windust, and George Daniel alongside him in a back four. Quinton Blair and his defensive midfield partner James Bayliss in the heart. Jack Armson at the point of that midfield triangle. Marco Jesic expected to start on the left as he did last week. Franco Meyer on the right, and Damien Sekenis, equal top scorer in the league, leading the line. For United, Adam Pavlicic in goal, Bailey Rule, Michael Glassick, Liam McGing and Koya Nakano, who scored the only goal of the last meeting in defence. Julian Chop into midfield, meaning Tomoki Wada, scorer last weekend, drops out. Carlos de Oliveira and Dylan Rose there as well. Farah Coco in on the right, Leroy Jennings on the left, and perhaps a number 9's berth for Mason Wells, with Michael Krislovich dropping out. Rowan Fisher is our referee. Will the Palace be homes of the State's Kings again? The next 90 minutes hold a lot of the answers. And the early stages will play a big part in deciding who takes victory in Nicola Posda. There's not too many comebacks in this sort of game. Momentum means a lot, particularly in the early stages.
Yeah, look, I expect this one to be a really tight affair, just like the first one was. One goal in at that time. I don't think you'll see much different here, but just after looking at these lineups, there are more than 15 goals on Sydney United's bench. There's not that many in the starting 11, and I think that a lot of their firepower we'll see later on in the second half.
And added depth, we talked about during the Waratah Cup final, they have not had in years past. It's a luxury that Miro Vlastelic has been afforded. Mason Wells starting as the lone striker today. It's going to be an interesting one. Julian Chop making his first start back at the club, and perhaps their biggest clash of the season. So in front of the Sydney United supporters, Franco Meyer will curl this one away from goal, and Pavlicic happy to watch it over his crossbar. No harm done. The first set piece of the afternoon.
And Marco Jesic playing in front of the fans that usually give him a bit of stick, and I'm sure that when these games come around, Marco Jesic can't wait for the Sydney United derby. And I know exactly where he'll be running if he is to score a goal, there's no doubt about that.
He's got 6 of them in this fixture. First of them came The game I watched some highlights of earlier today, Marconi led by 5-0 inside half an hour. There was no other goal across the entirety of the game, and he did enjoy that one. Not sporting the beard, as he does these days.
The famous beard of NPL New South Wales football.
It's Leroy Jennings, his opposite winger, who's getting a chance to stretch his legs. He scored in a derby in his first game for Sydney United back in 2023. His cross had a little bit too much on it for Wells to reel in. What do you make of this Sydney United front line? It's going to look a little bit different in its complexion. Are they going to have trouble holding the ball up against such a solid defence as Marconi's has been all year?
Well, I think that's what teams have struggled to play with when they come up against Marconi. There's not really that player that's been able to battle against Windust and Linaric and even Teng Kuol when he's in the back line. So something a little different. Mason Wells likes to run at the defence. They'll need to deal with something that they probably haven't seen much of this year. And then again, United have the capability of changing that in the second half with either Chimenti or Krislovic to come on, and we know how good they've been this year as well.
Certainly plenty of pace in that front line. Marconi have plenty of attacking exponents of their own. Franco Maya having his pass to Jack Armson blocked off. Two players who've been in fine form this season. Behind Sir Kenneth, I mean, it's a fearsome front four they boast as well.
And it's interesting now, Armson playing in his more preferred 10 role. We know he's scored a lot of goals when he played at Apia, even back at Bonnyrigg White Eagles in the league below. He was a prolific scorer from that 10 position, and it'll be interesting to see. He's already got a couple since moving higher up the park, how he adjusts today and how United deal with him. Dylan Rose has been the best 6 in the competition with Eddie Caspers. How's he going to deal with Jack Armson?
Well, there's a shout that Rodri might be on the receiving end of the golden ball in the World Cup this year. Liam Rose might be going in with Dylan Rose, sorry, might be going in with a shout to the gold medal. I hope they get his name right when he goes up to receive it.
I watched Eddie Caspers yesterday come off the bench and absolutely turn the game for Apia Leichhardt, and I think Dylan Rose has done much of the same in 2026 for Sydney United. And sometimes they are the unsung heroes of their teams, but those two, we try to give them as much credit as they're due throughout the season.
Carlos de Oliveira, typically combative in midfield, able to thump the ball forwards, but it has been a real arm wrestle in midfield. Pitch a little bit choppier than usual. Some junior tournaments, you told me, Nicola, that were taking place here over the course of the last weekend, that with some rain around as well. Quite look as manicured as it usually does, the Marconi Stadium pitch today.
Also a little soft underfoot, in particular on that far side in front of the Sydney United fans. It was quite soft, and it'll be interesting to see how the players adapt to that. We know that most of these teams these days play on synthetic pitches. Not many players even have metal screw-ins in their bags anymore, so I think that could be a factor at some point as well in the game.
Sydney United have seen out that very early pressure from Marconi, trying to knock the ball forwards to nobody in particular, and George Daniel with a very calm first touch. Back for Joel Wade. Big gloves to fill at the start of the season, coming in for James Hilton. It's the competition's best a year ago, applying his trade in the A-League, and his release was pretty good there. He's found Sir Kenneth down the left, face-to-face with Glasic. Looking to get the cross in. He's got numbers to aim for. Rose well positioned, without too much pressure around him. Into the setting sun, he clears right onto the left foot of Mason Wells. That's that assured first touch. Windust following him into midfield there, and Armson happy to tap the ball over the touchline. Marconi will restore their 4-point lead over Apia with a win today. Dramatic one yesterday, wasn't it, Nicola? You were on the microphone for that one.
Yeah, the Wanderers
gave them a big scare.
They were excellent in the first 45. One of the best team performances I've seen, in particular with their pressing. They really made it difficult for Apia to play, and they deservedly led, and probably should have led by more than 3-2 at half-time. 5 goals in the first half is pretty unseen, unless you're watching the World Cup. But the second half, Eddie Caspers coming on, Sean Simmons, the game just turned on its head, and Apia deservedly at the end of the day walking away with all 3 points and a 5-3 win in an 8-goal thriller. And if you thought that was the most goals you'd see all weekend, you were mistaken this morning.
That's right. See if that game gets quickly dispatched with, although I'm sure people higher up will sell it as a victory. Plenty of entertainment. We're going to see a lot more meaningful football played out here this afternoon, and it's already a lot more tense and tight, and Pavlicic, usually so sure of foot, wants to clear beyond Marconi's intense press. They have set themselves, really built their identity on that over the course of the last 3 or 4 seasons. All the way back to the championship winning campaign in 2024. Suffocating teams high up the pitch as they've done here. Sekenis winning the ball back. Rose well positioned again. Jesic into a battle with him. The pass only finds Quinton Blair. And his strike, not the most sturdy of foot. And perhaps you can see why he's still searching for his first Marconi Stallions goal.
He's done a lot of good work this season for Marconi at the other end of the pitch. At this side, still a bit green, I think. Not ready to start finding the back of the net just yet. Not with an attempt like that, anyway.
Came with a very good college degree. He's slotted in beautifully, hasn't he, Blair? It's part of the Loyola Chicago setup over in the NCAA, as well as the SLU Billikens. It's not a name we're often referencing on NPL New South Wales commentary.
American football. Gotta love it.
Chop for Coco. Looking to dart inside. The Loyola Chicago alumni getting back there to cut out the danger, and Vlasic happy to stick the ball out of danger. Ian McGing preferred again to Adrian Vlastelica, who's welcomed a son over the last couple of weeks. Missed playing entirely last weekend against Rockdale. He's back on the bench, available today if needed.
Yeah, congratulations to him and his partner Belinda, welcoming young Mateo into the world last Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, on Origin night. So double celebration in the household there.
He won't be wearing sky blue today, I can tell you that much. Lonarich plays the ball across field. Windust for Bernie. Maya loves that switch of play on his left foot. He's searching for it early here. Cut out by Rule, wearing the captain's armband in Vlastelica's absence again today. It almost falls to Jesic's feet. Armson for Sekenis. This is nice from Marconi. Bernie's final touch just letting him down a little. Maya almost in a right fullback position. It's been suffocating stuff in the last couple of minutes, hasn't it?
And I was just going to say, you would have much rather Franco Maya in that position where Tyrone Bernie was.
George Daniels having an adventure forwards, but the ball asks too much of him. A little bit of total footballs sneaking into Marconi's play early.
Both left back and right back really pushing high, and I think that's the intent Marconi showing there immediately in this first half. They want to win this game.
But it's Sydney United who are in a good position. Crude challenge from Windust on Chop. It was a chance for an advantage to be played out there for Sydney United, but Wells and Coco got themselves in a right mess, and Rowan Fisher's whistle bails them out of any trouble. Windust is going to be fortunate to get away without a booking here. Very late. Just a talking to at this early stage from Rowan Fisher.
I think he's a very, very lucky boy. Rowan Fisher pointed to the watch as well. I think he said it's a bit early for that, mate. For me, definitely deserved to be in the book after that.
Vlastelica will be happy about the early impact of Julian Chop, though. Playing in tandem, Rose at the base of midfield and 2-8s ahead of him by the looks of things. Leroy Jennings, who is another who has enjoyed this fixture in years past. McGing, so sturdy, filling in at the back next to Classic again today. Nakano for Chop to nod on. He's got pace and he comes together. This a cleaner challenge from Windust, and not only wins that, but the goal kick as well.
I think Julian Chop is a fantastic pickup for Sydney United. He was very impressive at the Wanderers, and I'm actually a bit surprised that he wasn't given a scholarship. He's one of those that stood out for me in that side, in that midfield. But someone's loss is someone else's gain, so Sydney United get their young star back anyway, so I think it'll be good for him. Get some exposure in the Australian Championship too, and not a bad move, and definitely a great move for Sydney United, but not a bad move for himself.
You talk about players who were passed over. Christian Volpato in the stands today, was presented on field with Marconi Club Chairman Morris Licata pre-game. Got a good round of applause, both from the Marconi fans and the travelling Sydney United supports, who got a shout out in his speech. I'm not sure if that was planned or not. Carlos de Oliveira's got them singing as he makes his way down the right, looking to deliver on the head of Wells. Well, cut out by Windust. Rose looking to keep the pressure on, but now Marconi might have an opportunity to break forward quickly through Franco Maya. Sekenes, the willing runner. And McGing happy to sweep up simply. Both teams looking to go forward quickly. It's making for engaging viewing in the first 12 minutes.
Yeah, lots of transition football at the moment. I think that ball in behind is really testing the central back pairing of Sydney United as well. Damien Sekenes had a fantastic season himself in 2026, and he'll be looking to continue his goal scoring. And I mean, if 10 quals on the A-League trial, I don't think that Damien Sekenes is too far from getting one himself either. He's had a really good campaign.
Said at the start of the year he wanted to be in contention, if not winning the Golden Boots. He's made good on that promise. 15 goals level only with Awan Lawal. Did he score yesterday?
Awan Lawal had a brace yesterday. I was just going to say, he's not going to get it if Lawal keeps scoring the way he is.
Is Blair in an attacking position to find the feet of Jesic. Bayless lobbing the ball over the top. George Daniel, who's found some joy getting high up the pitch in the early stages, delivering with his less favoured right foot onto the feet of Bailey Rule, who swept the ball away. United coming under consistent early pressure. Marconi, plenty more of the ball. They've been a more possession-based side this season than in years past, haven't they, Nicola? And they're making their way forward again through Daniel, towards Rule.
They found their scoring boots as well of late. There was a bit of a period where they were scraping 1-0 wins. They've scored 7 in their last 3 and really started to find the back of the net as they were earlier on in the season. And we always expected that to turn, and it has now. So Marconi team's looking very scary at the pointy end of the season.
If they go with another clean sheet today, they'll have had the longest run without conceding in the NPL as well. It's quite remarkable. Twice we've seen it this season. St George's prospects have rather hit a downturn since they did it in the opening 6 rounds of the season, but Marconi going from strength to strength. Not worried about that record at the moment. They just want to get on the score sheet themselves, and George Daniel's doing a good job of moving them forwards. You hear the crowd rise. Armson's header didn't find his captain. Very congested in there from the Sydney United defence as well. It's the sort of pressure they came under early in the season at home, managed to absorb that and then spring forward to take the leads late in the first half, but pressure is coming in waves here. Jesic firing the ball into his defender to win another early corner. This has been another big plus. The addition of James Bayless gives them some added quality from these set-piece situations. Allows players like Armson to get in the area and try and get his head on balls as well. This is over his head, aimed towards Windust. Stooping to clear was McGing. And Sydney United will try and go in transition themselves now. Coco. Bernie winning the ball cleanly off the toe of De Oliveira. Sydney United settling for a throw.
We spoke about St George after those 6 games. They got hit for 6 last night. 6-1 against Rockdale. A shocking result for them, and I think staying up is going to be very, very difficult for St George. And another one of those battles across the competition ladder. This season's been excellent all over. We've got a premiership battle. We've got a battle for finals positions, in particular after Rockdale's 3-point deduction, and the relegation battle itself as well is pretty exciting this year.
You haven't mentioned the Australian Championship qualification as well. Sutherland and Rockdale, because of that deduction, are going to be level on points at the end of the weekend.
Yeah, Sutherland slipping up yesterday against Sydney Olympic as well. 1-1 draw there. Wouldn't have expected that. I think they, last 2 games, 1 point. They could have really had a gap on Rockdale and cemented that Australian Championship spot, but now they're going to be made to work for it. I think those 2 meet in a week or so next Sunday, if I'm not mistaken.
Next weekend, that's right.
That'll be a very, very exciting clash, that one at Illington Sports Centre.
Back here, game's sort of just at a point where both teams are content with where they are, but only looking to press as Sydney United work it around their back line. Jennings, Daniel in his back. That'll be a good little battle between those two. BG and getting over his injury problems to make consistent impact for Miro Vlastovica again this season. Been like a new signing for them. McGing turning on the ball. Didn't have too many options, but found Rose pretty calmly. There's space for him to stride into midfield. Rolling the ball wide for Bailey Rule. Fourth campaign with Sydney United. Played 40 matches in all competitions last season. They're right back. Akano, the new star, announced himself by scoring the lone goal in the game earlier in the season out of Denza Park. Now a chance for Farakoko to turn and run with the football. He ran into a quartet of Marconi defenders. Bayless able to turn out of trouble. Meyer looking to open up the pitch with that trademark switch. And Bernie playing the ball between themselves. And as usual, the ball is, well, almost right on the money. Daniel couldn't haul it in.
Just as you were speaking about the 40 games as well, some of these players over the next, or by the end of December, will have played 80 games across Apia and Sydney United. This is more games than A-League players play, and a lot of these players work full-time jobs as well, have families, and they're not full-time professionals, so it's a real testament to how hard they work and what they actually do for their clubs.
There's been an appeal on the far side for the challenge that went in. Were their studs showing? That question will be answered later, but Sydney United continuing for now. There could be controversy about this if they score. Jennings darting to his right. Well held by Daniel, and De Oliveira with a desperate effort, really. The attack had sort of petered out. So Kenneth is back to his feet now. A couple of inquiries from the Marconi bench.
Wasn't too much in that, but there was contact. Not intentional, I don't think, but definitely caught Sekenis a little late there, did Bailey Rule.
Referee saw that got more of the ball than the man. Kennesy's back to his feet. He's rather gingerly making his way into position. Cholwade's almost waiting for him to get there. He plays the ball out short to George Daniel. He's going route one this time around. Steve Sekenis still out on that left-hand side, not far from where the challenge took place. I said the opening 10 minutes have been a good watch, Nicola. The game's reached a real arm wrestle, hasn't it? With both teams not looking to do anything too enterprising. It's been risk-averse football. I think you can describe the period after the opening to this game.
Yeah, I think we saw something similar in the last game between the two as well. And it's much of what we really expected. These two, it's similar to, I think, what tomorrow morning's World Cup final will be as well.
Game of similar importance to these players as Chop is pinged for the foul on Blair. These two are getting very familiar. Marconi have had a couple of these set-piece situations already, just able to pepper the Sydney United box. Talk about Marconi's improvement in an attacking sense over the last 12 months. Sydney United has been at the other ends where they've become a defensive force. Just 17 goals conceded over the 23 league games they've played this year. It's down from being the team that conceded more goals than any other, finishing in the top 6 a year ago. Bayless curling this ball deep towards Windust, who seems to be the target of these balls into the box, but again, he doesn't quite get the purchase he was looking for. Nakano, who had to win his spot in the starting side again after an up and down Australian Championship, but it's been an ever-present, really, for the past 3 months. Big part of Sydney United's push for finals football. They're pretty safely entrenched in the top 6, but still chasing premiership glory. They're only an outside chance, but 3 points here could spark a bit of a late season push. 6 games to go, as Nicola mentioned in the pre-game. 4 points behind Marconi. Certainly not an irretrievable gap.
Like you said, we've seen stranger things happen. I think it'd be really exciting for the league if United were to win this, and it was to be a real sprint to the finish for all 3 teams. United's been there for, I guess you could say, all up until around 15, 16. They were right in the mix. They've sort of dropped off the last 6 weeks or so, but that's also due to all the football they've had to play recently, and they'll continue to play midweek when they've got an Australia Cup clash.
Big one coming at Adenza Park on Wednesday night against the Central Coast Mariners, one which a few onlookers are tipping them as favourites for because of the lack of signings of the Mariners, but also because of the quality that the Sydney United team possess. Plenty of it in reserve today.
I think that's a testament to not just the New South Wales NPL competition, but the NPL teams across the country. We saw what Heidelberg was able to do last season in the Australia Cup, and again, I think this competition is so strong now. 5 years ago, who would have thought it was possible? 10 years ago, it was not even anywhere on the cards, and now we're tipping these teams from the NPL to be favourites in games. It's an incredible rise in the NPL, and unfortunately a bit of a lull in the A-League as well.
Good crowd in here today at Marconi as well. Not quite the 4,000 we had on Easter Monday, but shouldn't be a million miles away. Grandstand is really pockmarked, really, with seats available, and both ends of the ground have healthy contingents taking the game in from there as well. Thank you for joining us on the NPL New South Wales YouTube channel, Football New South Wales YouTube channel for NPL New South Wales Football. Alex Molchanoff and Nicola Posda along with you for this big clash. Second playing for the Ron Corrie Cup, but a rivalry that dates back well before that. Got NSL clashes of years past. 1988 grand final went all the way to penalties with Marconi victorious that day. Clashes here in the late 90s in finals football in that competition as well. Classic played in the elimination final here a year ago.
Special game, that one, went all the way to penalties. Some heroics for a now A-League goalkeeper as well in Jimmy Hilton. So Marconi get through in that one. Spectacular game.
Only one Sydney United starter today that took a penalty, Nicola. How's your trivia? Can you pick them?
Carlos de Oliveira got sent off, so it wasn't him. I will say... It's a tough question, Molchi.
I'll give you a clue. He's wearing the captain's armband. We'll get back to that. Sekenis, lovely first touch to take it away from McGing. Holds up Nakano and fires! Very good save from Pavlicic. First time either goalkeeper's been tested this afternoon, and the Sydney United clubman was up to the task.
Just like he has most of this season, Adam Pavlicic again sticking out a strong hand to keep that one out. It was a fine shot from Sekenis, and we've seen him do it so much. He just turns on a dime and was curling toward that top corner, but a fine save keeps the score at 0-0.
Sekenis so clever to generate the opportunity for himself. He had to see off the centre half, make sure he had a yard over the left fullback over in cover. The chance he created for himself, and was very close to taking it as well. So Jesic into a wrestling match with Rose in front of Pavlicic. As Meyer delivers right on the goal line. Was it over the line? No, says the assistant. Still Bayless there, bending the ball over the crossbar. And there will be a lot of conversation about that. He was beautifully positioned. The linesman was right there. Franco Meyer pleading with him. But Pavlicic did just enough to keep the ball out.
It was a great delivery. Really put them under pressure. I don't know how that stayed out. I don't know how Jesic didn't put it over the line as well.
And now a chance down the other end with Wells. He's got numbers in the middle. Heroic piece of defending from Bernie. And this game has sparked to life in the space of 2 minutes.
This is what we want to see, a proper derby action as well. End-to-end stuff. Come out of a lot out of nowhere. It's woken everyone up. The excitement really rising now.
Well, such was the excitement that whoever's controlling the PA here at Marconi Stadium had started playing the goal music.
Vengabus.
Not quite to be.
Almost got me bouncing. That'll be dangerous in this media box.
Best seat in the house. And the Sydney United fans are up for the first time this afternoon. Their team have an attacking set piece to try and challenge Joel Wade with this time. Wells to swing it in towards him. And Jennings trying to jump. It wasn't cleanly dealt with by the Marconi goalkeeper. Jesic hacks the ball away. It was really a hack. He toe poked it out of the penalty area. Rose to return serve. Classic still up. The ball was in his direction. I think Mlinaric, even though he didn't get a touch, just did enough to put Classic off. And Marconi see out the Sydney United raid. Well, we're waiting for a moment to spark things. We got two.
Yeah, I think Marconi is actually a little lucky there. Anton Mlinaric completely misses this header. And Glassick, I think he was more worried about Mlinaric getting something on that. He forgot about the ball. That was a good chance for United. Had the focus been there from the big centre-back.
Well, just a warning shot to Marconi. He'd been in control of this game, but Sydney United boast so much quality that they are able to strike back when needed. Jesic down under Rose's challenge. And I think this will be a bit of a leveller from the Windus non-yellow card inside the opening 15 minutes that Rose just has a ticking off rather than his name taken.
And I think that's the last challenge we'll see that doesn't go into the referee's notebook. The next one most definitely will warrant a yellow card.
You talked about that elimination final with 2 red cards that night, both in extra time, De Oliveira and Lachlan Griffiths for Marconi. This is not a game that throws up a heap of red cards, though. Mitch Marley, the last to be sent off for Marconi in regular season football, that was back in 2019, and Nick Stavroulakis, the last Sydney United player in 2018. That ball lobbed in. Jennings' defensive header meant that it sat up for Pavlicic, who released very quickly. Right to the feet of Coco, and Maya showing off his old fullback skills in cutting off the attack progressing any further. Running into Chop. That's overplaying a little there. Jennings happy to head back to his back line and give Sydney United a chance at some sustained possession of their own.
It's a good opportunity there for United to break, and I think Farakoko probably a little too comfortable in possession. Definitely could have released that, had United on the front foot.
Seen that a couple of times from both teams, haven't we, Nicola? A chance to go in transition, sort of backed off, not thinking the support's there. It's all much easier to do when we're sitting up here, of course, but those chances are there.
This is why they're paid the big bucks, though. We expect them to be able to see those passes, but again, we may be the harsh critics up here. Much easier from
that
our
doesn't
vantage
sound
point.
like you. That doesn't sound like you at all.
Never.
De Oliveira and Rose sorting the ball out between themselves. Crowd just taking a moment's pause after a couple of minutes of excitement. McGing leaping in front of Sekenis to win the initial ball. Two sturdy defences winning out in this clash to this point.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think you look at, we spoke about the 3 central defenders of Marconi this season, how important they've been to their defensive structure. Sydney United's as well. McGinn, Glassick and Vlastelica really have been excellent, irreplaceable, and when one isn't available, whoever slots in does so well.
Rose with a lovely first touch and a better second to take the ball away from Bayliss and get Bailey Rule going forwards. Daniel beat Jennings to the ball. It ricochets straight back to Bailey Rule. He's got the beating of Jesic. He's into the area. And the ball might sit up for Wells. Ball couldn't be brought under his spell. And it all peters out. But it was promising from Sydney United. All came from the work of Rose in midfield again.
Yeah, a bit disappointing there in the end. That the opportunity was a good one for the visitors. Wells just couldn't bring the ball under control. But again, that man in the middle of the park, getting things started, getting past one defender, spraying the ball out wide, and then Bailey Rule's run into the area. Bit tricky to try and make a challenge there. He goes down. So United have a spot kick, so good. Another good chance for the visiting team, but didn't really create something to challenge Joel Wade with.
He's looked pretty comfortable to this point today.
Except for the fumble.
Even then, not really a Sydney United player around him to punish, though, was there?
Well, it's that little bit of extra determination to get to the ball that will win you these sorts of games in these derbies. Whoever's prepared to make that next step, they'll be the ones that come away with the 3 points. I've got no doubt about that.
So Kenneth's just a little overzealous in trying to win the ball off Bailey Rule there. Long direct ball from Nakano, and it's spun so much that it caught Coco out. Hasn't he had a fine return? He's only been used sparingly as a starter this season by Miro Vlastelica, but 7 goals. He's only 3 short of his return last year for Manly United, where he was their top scorer. Got himself the move down to the southwest. But again, has been a player used more often off the bench. To great effect, it must be said.
And a favourite of the Sydney United fans as well. They really get excited when they see Farakoko on the park. Has that bit of spark about him.
Here's Wells in this changed central position. Windust has been keen to follow him into midfield, as he does again here. Plays the ball off the rule and chop. Now Rose, you just saw that take a little bobble as it approached him, and it allowed Bayliss in to win the challenge very firmly. And he's forward now. Receiving off Jesic, looking for Sekenes, sits for Armson. Terrific challenge from Classic in the nick of time. And Jennings not able to get the right side of Daniel.
How about that delivery from Bayliss with the left foot? And even the use of the body from Sekenes, he probably wanted to do a little bit more with that. Wasn't able to, but the ball still fell in the path of Jack Armson. He did just enough. And Armson inches away from putting Marconi in the lead, because had he made contact with that, I don't think Pavlicic would have been able to keep that one out.
Or even if he had just had a little touch in there. Classic sort of blindsided by him. See defenders go down in challenges like that, and penalties very quickly become the outcome. Marconi not trying anything too fancy with this set piece. It looks as though they're just going to lob it into an area again. Very high line being kept by Sydney United. It's a well-directed cross, though. Sekenes let down by his first touch with McGinn close in waiting. Wells asked to chase another ball that beats him over the touchline.
Again, there we see another transition moment where United can't capitalise, finding the right pass, but Marconi need to be careful, because eventually they'll get one right and they'll set them. The visitors will be set off there on a good attacking position that Marconi might not be able to defend.
Windust just nodding the ball out of play. This seems to be Sydney United's most fruitful way forward at the moment. Is building slowly. Again, they return to try and build from the back. Difficult to do against Marconi's high press. Found their way out of it this time. McGinn and Nakano. Coco got the better of Bernie for the first time this afternoon. Chop. Nakano joining in the attack. This is better from Sydney United. De Oliveira rides one challenge. Finds Wells. Mason Wells opens the scoring for Sydney United. Brilliant drag back, and the finish was even better. Caught Wade unawares. And it's the visitors who strike first against the runner play.
And Sydney United there taking the lead as they do. I think nobody, including Joel Wade, expected the ball to go where it did. I think he was expecting Carlos De Oliveira to get the return pass there for the 1-2. Instead, he turns on his own and finds the bottom corner. Well taken, powerful shot. Joel Wade was not going to get there. No chance whatsoever. And Mason Wells, again, finding the back of the net as he has done so many times this season.
And that's meant to be his less favoured foot. Didn't look it there. Didn't overhit it. Just struck the ball sweetly enough from close range after getting the better of his marker. It was a nice phase of Sydney United play. It deserved a goal. And Mason Wells gave it that finishing touch. Just his 4th goal of the league season. He's added a few more in cup football, but the faith to play him as the lone 9 rewarded. Miro Vlastelica with another right pull of the rein, Nico.
Again, we doubted the decision, let's be honest. At the start of play, when we saw the lineups come out, there was no Chimenti, no Krislovic starting at the point of the attack, and look what it's done.
Well, there might be a chance here for Armson. That's a ball bouncing directly in Pavlicic's penalty area. Fortunately, just sat up for him.
Never doubt the old wolf. It's a saying from back home that I'm sure Miro Vlastelica will be cherishing at the moment.
This game of big moments. Sydney United have not done the league double over Marconi in the NPL era, going back before their relegation from the top tier of New South Wales football. It's been a long wait. Won a premiership back in 2016 since then, and still not managed to do it.
Also, Adrian Vlastelica has never won at Marconi Stadium.
Will they get minutes just to close things out today if the score stays the same? They've got work to do to get there, Sydney United. Maya having a crack, Coco clattering into him after the ball had gone. But Fisher telling Maya, you had your crack. And Liam McGing letting him know about it as well.
Scored some spectacular goals over the last couple of weeks, Franco Maya. On that occasion, though, not as he would have wished. Ended up on Restwell Road, I think, that one.
Mason Wells' last goal at Marconi Stadium was towards the end of 2024. Sydney United trailed by 2-0 that day, and his goal was not enough to spark the comeback, but this is a strike in much happier circumstances. And is more of a mainstay of the team this time. He just signed from Bulls Academy when he scored that one. So some questions about just how integral he'd be to the Sydney United setup. He's made himself man number one at the moment. Classic diving to clear, and the flag's up against Jack Armstrong, who came from an offside position.
Bayless again going forward, again putting himself about and trying to help his team in an attacking position. After Yesic and Sekenis both went down, it actually was a good ball into the box, wasn't far from Armstrong. So those second-man runs from Bayless are starting to cause United a bit of problems. I need to be aware of that, so they might have to fix at the break.
Bayless coming off a sterling OFC Pro League campaign with Auckland FC's reserves, 19 starts, a goal. Played in the grand final against South Melbourne, which Auckland won. Got a measure of revenge of his own after being beaten in the Australian Championship final last December. Coco leading the press for Sydney United, and he's done more than that. He's won them a throw-in. And it's funny how goals change games, Nicola. Sydney United just playing with a little bit more confidence now. And suddenly just 50-50 decisions seem to be turning their way as well. Whitened the crowd except for their section.
You can definitely feel it as well from where we're standing. There's no doubt that United have that bit more confidence about them now. And as we say that, they cough up possession pretty easily.
Marconi have just copped a bit of a sucker punch though, and now how they respond will dictate the remaining hour or so of this game. It's poised absolutely beautifully for the neutral, right on a nice edge. Not for Peter Sekenis, who is up off his bench for the first time today, pacing his technical area. Armstrong with a clever touch. Return from Sekenis for Armstrong. Cut off by Rule. See the pitch as well. Heavier than usual. How some of the players' movements are a little slower, less sharp than they usually would be. Sekenis gang tackled really by three Sydney United players. Wanted the free kick, it was never coming. Nakano. Well, Coco. There's a bit of frustration starting to show on Marconi Stallions' faces now as well. Given how well they started this game, sorry, Nico, only really generated the one clear chance, and that was Sekenis' bit of ingenuity that forced a save from Pavlicic.
Well, I actually think it's better that United's gone in front.
Chops ball is through for Jennings, who looked to be the wrong side. It's a beautifully timed tackle from Bernie.
As I was saying, I think it's better United's got in front, because had Marconi hit the front, we've seen him so many times be able to lock a game up and really just kill it off by their sturdy defence. But I think this way they'll have to come out in the second half and really attack United, and we know that both teams have a lot of quality at both ends of the park, and I think this could be, we could be in for a really exciting second 45 minutes.
Marconi have sort of shaken that tag as a team who don't come from behind this season. Had a dramatic win at Seymour Shore after trailing 2-0 earlier in the year. But won't want that same battle here. De Oliveira's ball is deep, punched away by Wade.
There's a bit of a wind down there too, so I think the gust might not be helping there. That's why Wade chose to punch rather than catch.
It's blowing right from our backs across the pitch where you're getting your vantage point. The Football New South Wales YouTube channel, back towards the main grandstand. Rule for De Oliveira from the throw, and that's tidy enough to win Sydney United a corner. Building pressure through set pieces late in the first half.
I think both teams have been pretty dangerous from corners so far in this game. United get only their second corner of the afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. So, see how much pressure they can put Joel Wade under now. The last one he spilt, so see what he goes for here.
Wells, the goal scorer, he delivered the ball for Nakano's goal in the game on Easter Monday. Right about this minute, Nakano makes that same run. It beats him this time. Arms and heads clear. Maya putting his boot through the ball further, but it was up rather than out. Rose happy to retain possession in the shadows of half-time. Sydney United might just be happy to go with that 1-goal lead into the break. De Oliveira, even with his pace, not able to keep that ball in play. Gorgeous late winter's day in Sydney. Could not ask for better conditions to play football. Just under 20 degrees at kickoff. Minimal winds, a little bit of a breeze as we just told you about. This is exactly what you picture when watching football in late winter. De Oliveira. Jennings making the advancing run, held up by Windust. He's been dragged wide. Nakano playing the 1-2. Get a cross in. Bayless has come across to help Bernie out with the Japanese fullback. The throw in will do for now.
It's interesting, Jennings and Coco haven't really seen much of the ball, been involved in many Sydney United attacks. Most of what they've been building up involves Bailey Rule or Carlos de Oliveira, so interesting from them.
Jennings. Bayless in attendance. Nakano again. Coco. Chop. Now Rose setting up to shoot. Wade saw the ball all the way. Stung his palms though. And gathers on the second attempt.
Yeah, good controlled shot there from Dylan Rose. Never really going to trouble Wade too much, but you always want to finish those actions, and that's exactly what Dylan Rose did there.
It's only a couple of games this season for Sydney United. One of those through suspension. Picking up too many yellow cards. And a lot of players get a little break in the middle of the year, particularly playing in Rose's position. Seemed to make contact with Daniel there, but so minimal that the referee said no free kick. Maya. Jesic in the central area for the first time today. His pass was left short for Daniel. He's been on the periphery today, Marco Jesic. I'm not sure that's a trend that Peter Sekenes wants to continue. 36 years of age, but still so critical to what Marconi do going forward. There has been a little bit of a noticeable lack of sting over the last couple of minutes. 2 additional minutes to be played at the end of this first half. Blair for Maya. Now Bayless, who likes to get in these positions. He can drive forward without too much defensive attention. And now Jesic in a crossing position. Goes with his left foot. Easily cleared by Classic. Oh, and De Oliveira misplaying uncharacteristically. Linares. Do Marconi have one last bite of the cherry in them before the break? Windust. His ball left short. Blair's first touch letting him down.
It might be a cop-out for the Marconi players, but I do think this half that they're attacking is the worst for wear half, and I think that United will see that in the second half too. It's really difficult to play. You can see there are more patches on this side of the pitch as well. And as we said, walking the pitch earlier, this side was quite soft underfoot.
Clearing header from McGing, only as far as Maya. Daniel. Now Bayless. Swings the ball in with his left. Headed away by Glassick. And Rule happy to run the ball clear of trouble. The sideline caught him a little quicker than he would have liked. Peter Sekenis up playing ball boy. He wants his team to heap on the pressure before half-time. Harmson. Sekenis takes a positive touch. Brings him into the area. Eventually marshalled clear by a combination of Rule and then McGing, who cleared the danger. Sydney United clinging on towards the end of the first half. It's scrappy stuff. They might have a release through Julian Chop. De Oliveira there in assistance. Coco has Greengrass ahead of him. Quickly closed down by Blair. And then one back by Wells. De Oliveira on the far side. Linares did well to cut that ball out before it could pose any real danger. Only had 2 minutes allotted at the end of the first half. We're into the third. Jennings. Chop. Coco in a foot race with Burney, two of the quickest players in the competition. Waits there to help out. Launches the ball high into the southwest Sydney sky.
Feel as though Rowan Fisher's forgot to check his watch.
It's letting them play. We're getting bonus football here. Unless his fourth official put the wrong number up on the board. That's the other alternative I can think of. We've not had play stop. Finally, halftime is brought to us by the referee. It was an entertaining first half without going at a mile a minute. Marconi dominant early, but unable to capitalise on that. And then Mason Wells with the smartest piece of play in the first half to give Sydney United a 0-0 lead at half-time. Nicola Posta. Marconi still right in this one, though. Goes without saying.
Yeah, they seem really, really frustrated, Marconi. Just watching the boys walk off the park there. Not happy whatsoever with how they've played in this first period. And I really expect a lot more from them in the second 45. They'll be playing on the better, or attacking on the better half of the pitch as well. But for United, exactly what they want. Very similar to the earlier game between the two in the season. We may see much of the same in the second half, where they'll just shut up shop and look to hit Marconi on the counter.
So Sydney United smiling as they head to the changing rooms. It's Marconi 0, Sydney United 1 at half-time here at the Palace.
Every week, hundreds of thousands of people turn up around football grounds around New South Wales. Parents, kids, refs, coaches and volunteers. Cardiac incidents can happen to anyone at any time on the pitch.
Right now, not every club has a defibrillator.
And the ones that do are not always maintained or ready to use. In a critical moment, with a defib, that could save lives. That's why Football New South Wales, St John Ambulance and Toyota have come together for Every Beat Matters to help clubs around New South Wales to access defibrillators, cover maintenance and build a register so we know exactly where every unit is around the state. All you need to do is buy a ticket through Raffletix. $5 can make a difference. Every ticket goes towards funding defibrillators and maintenance for clubs that need it most. A live fundraising board shows exactly how much is being raised. And every ticket you buy puts you in the draw to win a Toyota Corolla. One ticket, real impact. Help your club be ready when it matters. So buy your ticket today.
Shifting inside. Bugaria spins. Kukuchka. Shifting one way and the other. Kukuchka! Duarte able to link up with Cornish. And now Lockie Scott has stolen a march on Ziggy Gordon here. Lockie Scott bursting into the area and finishing with aplomb. Cheaply giving the ball away there as a Killian and giving the Wolves with a golden opportunity here for Cornish. 1 and 2 as well, if you don't mind. Still going here. Kukuchka pulled into the area. Strike. Goal! As support wide in the form of Nizam. Instead it goes centrally for Daniel Wong. Is this the moment? What a save again from Kunail. He's got some more work to do as it rattles the woodwork. Nodded forward. Wong! That is the moment.
Byron can stop him. Here comes Nicholas Olsen to leg it 1-0 and does just. He's very fortunate. That's a good ball. There's plenty of people there. Chance. Oh, and it can't be tapped in by Manly. It's still in the box, waiting for a shot, and it does find it in. And it's Darcy Burgess. Great ball. If Kimura can take it. Oh, what a touch. Kimura all the way through. Could it be 2? It is. Oh, what a winner.
Major or Figuera. And Major sends him the wrong way, stares him down. Major, ball just gets away from him. Forced back. Nice turn from Jackson Brown. And how about that from Caleb Jackson Brown? Cross in again. Nikolovsky first tour, but the ball on the edge of the area. Forced to Marcic. First touch. Goal! Michal Marcic comes on and with his first touch. Tanaka crosses in toward O'Brien and he makes it 3.
Kuda looking for Farinella. He's led Adianzio to the ball. Stewart coming through on the outside. Stewart on the tight angle. What an excellent finish. Sydney FC have got a double change in the wings. Junior Conde and Corey Cronin. Here's a pass from Caspers. It's an incisive ball. It's been missed by Zavadinos, and a gift has been presented. Apia's score. And that pass to Pizzuti is promising. Is this Sydney's moment? Pizzuti cuts it back, and stepping in was Conroy. Pizzuti with a drive. It's going to be volleyed in. Sydney are back in business. And it's Josh Brezet.
Touches an opposition half for Spirit up and high. And here's Keeley. And Keeley with the shot. And that's a terrific finish from Callum Keeley up into the top corner. Lovely pass. Skatarich looking for the ball back. Skatarich. Well, Skatarich, the ball is deflected away. And a most unlikely goal as the ball is being cleared. Nicholas Skatarich putting pressure on Jake. You can absolutely see your breath now, as can the players. And now here is Mustafoy. He's inside the box. Takes one touch. Mustafoy looks up, looking to find Keeley. And it's driven into the back post there. Petranos didn't quite catch it, but Kobayashi did. Can he release Kobayashi? He can't. He gets a touch here. And now Kobayashi's getting on the ball. Mustafoy is driving forward. He's onside. He's just got the goalkeeper to beat. Mustafoy is there. A terrific save. No, it's got through. What a finish to this game. Oh, there's a punch from Janjetovic.
It was on a lead, Nathan Roberts. Nathan Roberts trying to get possession. Ball played back to Malfarra. Malfarra has a crack. Malfarra does it once again. Changes for both sides, as we've mentioned. Now Quilligan works a ball towards the far post. There's a touch. Goes over the top of Kenny. Then the header. It's in. Pufflet. Fantastic.
And De Oliveira, and De Oliveira will make way now. De Oliveira put far too much on the last one. Wada goes direct. Superb. A sweet strike from Tomoki Wada.
Here he is with the corner. It's a good ball in. Sinot has to punch. It's back out with Franco Meyer. And how about that? Bernie on that underlapping run gets into the area and lays it off for Jesic. And Marconi go bang bang. Down easy for Sekenis. He's looking to try and add something. Damien Sekenis gets Sunday Yona into the attack. Yona tries to go between defenders. Still has it, Sunday Yona. Sekenis with the header.
Welcome back to Marconi Stadium. The second half about to get underway between the Stallions and Sydney United 58. The visitors have taken the lead into half-time. Mason Wells' goal just after the half-hour mark, separating the two teams. After 45 minutes of intense football, Alex Bolshanoff, my name, next to me is Nicola Poster again. Nico, no changes by the looks of things for Marconi at half-time, but they'll need an improved temperament above everything else, considering how they ended that first half.
Yeah, I didn't expect any subs to be made by Teko and Flea, but I do expect them to really come out roaring in this second half. They weren't at their best, probably one of their worst halves of football this season, I think, and they'll really need to step it up, and we could see that at half-time when the whistle went, just how frustrated some of them were. But that's what Sydney United does. They try and frustrate you and starve you a little bit of chances like they did. It'll be interesting to see what tactical changes Teko's made at the break. And again, also from United, how they approach this second half. Do they sit back and absorb the pressure, or do they try and grab a second and really put this one to bed?
If Marconi can't recover, it will make the premiership picture all the more interesting for the final 6 rounds of the season. Apia sitting just a point behind them, heading into this afternoon's game after their 5-3 win over the Wanderers yesterday. Sydney United would be just 4 points in arrears, would give a renewed bit of hope to their premiership push. They've got a busy period coming up as well. They win through in the Australia Cup on Wednesday nights. The national rounds beginning with their clash against the Central Coast Mariners as the A-League clubs begin to make their entrance into that competition. Jennings playing the ball into Daniel. It's funny, Marconi's only loss since the one on Easter Monday to Sydney United that we've talked about plenty in this broadcast already was in the Cup. An upset defeat by Sydney Olympic, the Crest Athletic Centre. Apart from that, they've been near faultless through the middle part of this season. The sun really beginning to set now. Long shadows stretching across Marconi Stadium. Sydney United have started with more of the ball in the second half, but not able to bring an enterprising move to a happy end from their perspective anyway.
I think Marconi's run home as well, it seems like it could be cruisy, but I also think it could be very, very tricky. They come up against a tough SD Raiders team next week on a grass pitch as well, which looks great on the eye, but isn't really underfoot. And a team that yesterday came from behind with 10 men to beat Wollongong Wolves in Wollongong. They'll be absolutely full of confidence. They don't have to worry about the round of 16 in the Australia Cup for a couple of weeks yet, so I think that would be a tougher task for Marconi than what they expect. And knowing what the score was in the first one, SD will be out to make a statement, I think, in this one.
Got to get through this one first, Marconi. It's been a lot of that hurrying and hassling of Sydney United players, but without as much control of the ball as they would have liked, really, since Sydney United took the lead. Seen a lot of midfield scraps like this over the course of the first half. That continues into the second. Chop winning out this time, and Bailey Rule with space in front of him, forcing Yesic to track back. The delivery's not too bad. Coco being held by Bernie, and then De Oliveira lashes the ball wide. Again, Sydney United breaking out of one of those tight midfield areas, and suddenly there's space for them to try and exploit when they move forward quickly.
That's where I think United could really hurt Marconi and hurt their chances of getting back into this one in the second half if they aren't able to score. But talking about the premiership, how about the relegation battle? Blacktown City lead St George City by 2-0 after the first 45 minutes. And Blacktown, after looking as though they were heading for a playoff spot at best, and now almost well and truly safe.
A lot can change in 3 weeks in football, which means a lot can change in what the 35 odd minutes we've still got left to play here as well. Like that 40 odds. Meyer and Bernie have been interchanging between right wing and right fullback positions all day. Bernie's been keen to try and get forward. He hasn't scored this season. Did manage to get one in his debut campaign with Marconi a year ago. Windus long towards Armstrong, who's almost playing as a second striker now. That's how high he is. His delivery's cut out by McGing.
How about that touch from Jack Armstrong as well? That's the technical ability that he has at his disposal, being able to bring that one down with proper pressure on his back as well.
He's trying to get the beating in the Kano here. Coco back to lend a hand. And this looks very much like it'll be the pattern of the second half. Marconi are going to have to break Sydney United down. They are to get even a point out of this game. A lot of time left for them to do that in, but suddenly becomes very tight and edgy the longer you let this scoreline hold. The worst nightmare would be Sydney United finding a second before the hour mark. They've looked pretty enterprising with their play forward early in the second stanza. Coney trying to lean on that high press. Sydney United trying to draw them out. Wells between lines and couldn't find the Oliveira. Just got to build those little wins, one on top of the other now, Marconi, don't they?
Absolutely. I think that's really key for them. Winning little throw-ins, free kicks, keeping possession, and then starting to create from there will be key for them to challenging Pavlicic and trying to claw their way back into the game. But at the moment, it's a real tough one for Marconi. A very experienced United team as well that'll know exactly how to drag this one out and break the play up as much as possible.
You mentioned Pavlicic. Even when you do create an opportunity, one of the best goalkeepers in the competition, standing there ready to try and keep you out. Here's a chance. Sekenis flying in at the back post. Got good purchase on the ball, but the wrong direction. And McGing collides, and the ball ricochets over the crossbar for a Sydney United goal kick.
It's better from the home team. You could see Sekenis there for a moment. You thought he'd get in the back on the end of that and put that one away, but nevertheless, it's encouraging for them. They need more of that. They need to get more ball in the box. I don't think really the high crosses will work in this one. Glasic's so dominant in the air. They need to try and work the ball, either low crosses in or trying to find a way to get a shot off on the edge of the area and test Pavlicic.
On addition, he's been back for them this season. Missed the Australian Championship at the end of last year with a broken collarbone. How they missed him.
It'll be interesting to see how United line up in this championship. Everyone expected so much of them. I know their championship's still a few months away, but everyone expected them to really get on the national stage again and prove their history. But they were so far away from that, and I think that disappointing campaign won't be repeated this year. They'll be looking to really etch their name perhaps on the trophy. That's really what's expected of Sydney United.
Team with so much history, with so much success. 8 times New South Wales premiers, 5 times champions in this state.
Record cup holders.
I haven't even mentioned that. Well, it's Sydney United's turn to try and press. Malaric playing the ball beyond Chop. Daniel. Jennings just watching him away from trouble, really. And just leaving his pass for Yesic short, and Wells getting onto the ball, playing hold up and hitting a sweeping pass out to Coco. Now it's Meyer who has to track back and help out defensively. Big cheer as he turns around the Uruguayan-born winger. Chop. All comes to noughts, but Sydney United's progressing the ball down the field fairly easily when they get in those positions. They've been so good at playing around the Marconi press, which has been such a challenge for so many visiting here this season.
Sydney United will play their 30th competitive game already this season on Wednesday night. And I think that's why that extra depth that Vlastelica was able to recruit and use at his disposal has really helped them. By the end of the year, they would have played over 40 games at least. That's not even really including the championship, so incredible stats for them.
Speaking of depth, it's going to be interesting to see if Peter Sekenis, who's not a big user of his bench, goes there earlier today with them trailing. Mate Busek is there. He's really the standout option. Sunday Yona can have a bit of attacking thrust with his running power. There's no Noah Anderson available today. Made his name in the championship last season with his performance against Wollongong here, of course.
Well, here's one for you, Mulchi. Ahmed El Helu to come back and bite his youth football club with a late substitution, perhaps a late goal. Arrived from the Central Coast Mariners in the window. Lots of raps in him. Proven goal scorer for the Mariners. Definitely one that can add a bit of attacking bite to United. And of course, under Yona's pace, you cannot discount that.
See how soon Peter Sekenis goes to his bench. His team have retained a lot of possession in the opening 10 minutes of the second half. They haven't done a lot with it yet. Maya trying to change that. He's searching for Sekenis. Pavlicic was always the favourite as both went up.
So confident there, Pavlicic, to go and claim that under pressure as well. You could see Sekenis running directly at him, but you could see full confidence from the United keeper.
Had to make that one save in the first half from Sekenis, and also had that little goal mouth scramble from a Maya corner. But apart from that, everything's been pretty comfortable for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think the ability to have a goalkeeper that is such a presence, demands his area, breeds confidence throughout the rest of the squad, and I think that's why they look so comfortable so far in this game. There's a big part of that is Adam Pavlicic.
Still only 23 years of age. 4 A-League games split between Sydney FC and the Central Coast Mariners earlier in his career. Now training with MacArthur towards the end of the last A-League season. Certainly one you could see returning to that level in his output, particularly this year.
Well, you look at him and Ollie Kullatz this year, they've been the standout two goalkeepers, and taking nothing away from Joel Wade, who has had a number of clean sheets throughout the season. Those two really have been the standouts this year, and like we said, that gap between the NPL and the A-League has seriously closed, and these players are not too far at all away from getting that call-up. Saw Jimmy Hilton as well.
Well, you can add Daniel Solsky to that list as well.
That's
really
right.
Off the back of 2 or 3 strong months, and not been thought of as highly as some of those others we'd mentioned until the past couple of months.
Yeah, I think Solsky, again, not taking anything away from him, but he took a lot of people by surprise, in particular when we talk about Pavlicic and Kullatz, that they didn't get a call-up. So interesting times ahead for both of them. Definitely in contention for the goalkeeper of the year.
It's always a highly sought-after award, and we haven't mentioned one of the former winners, Daniel Nezic. He's had a pretty good year as well.
And we saw a cheeky scout in the stands, didn't we, at half-time, Mulch, just
You're
below
going to
us.
give him up, are you, Nico?
I will. David Perkovic, keen eye on proceedings here, has to face off against Marconi in the next couple of weeks.
It's one of the games of the season, the game those two played earlier in the year at Seymour Shore. Marconi came from 2 down.
So much on that one as well when that game does roll around.
Opa. Miro Vlastelica getting involved.
Vlastelica with the famous call of no changes when you speak to him pre-match. Didn't use him this time, used Adrian Vlastelica, and I got a bit of info out of him, so won't be too happy his son didn't take after him.
Ball played forward by Jesic. Sekenis into a little channel, darting inside on his right foot. McGinn there to cut him off again. It's been the story of the afternoon so far. The Sydney United team so sturdy, so stoic. Rose with the switcher play out to Rule. He left that a bit short, so he just rode the challenge of Jesic, who was trying to impose himself and ended up on his backside. Rule. Striding forward into the space he created. Wells in his more accustomed position out on the right flank, plays the ball into Blenaric and is very happy to pick up a Sydney United corner right on the hour mark.
First time we see Bailey Rule get involved in the second half, and straight away United with an attacking corner here and a chance to put Wade under some pressure.
This is where we almost saw Marconi score in the first half. A left-footed player with a good delivery, swinging the ball into the near post. Wells tries to do the same. In fact, he floats it to the edge of the box where there's no one in black waiting. Franco Maya happily obliges and plays the ball forward to Bayliss. He has no support with him, but he's run away from Rose, at least in the initial little bit of contact between the two, and calls for a foul, falling on deaf ears again. Marconi are going to be careful they don't get dragged into too much interplay with the referee.
I have to say, I'm a bit surprised that whistle didn't come there for the earlier foul on Bayliss. It was clearly pulled by Rose, who I thought was even going to get a yellow card there. In the end, no free kick. And United have the ball again.
Still in conversation with the central referee today, Rowan Fisher, as he made his way back to his defensive position. Blenaric flicking the ball forward. Rule is growing in influence in this second half. Chop and Rose for McGing. Rose again. He has controlled so much of the afternoon's proceedings. Slides the ball wide for Nakano. De Oliveira, who's flitting out to the left for a moment, getting himself involved. They're looking comfortable with this goal to nil advantage given to them by Mason Wells in the first half at the moment. Are the travelling Sydney United players. Splendent in their all-black change strip today. They're doing it honours. They've got defending to do now. Sekenes into the 50-50 with Rule. Comes away with a football. Still Damien Sekenes. Couldn't turn the ball on target. Did all the hard work. And perhaps a little off balance as he struck it. It flies high and wide.
When the block didn't come in there, you sort of expected the ball to ripple the net, but it didn't. It was just too high. Great work from Sekenes. I thought he'd given the ball up at the first challenge from Rule, but he managed to keep his feet, and then in the end, just striking over the bar. It was an excellent passage of play for the striker. And again, more encouraging for Marconi, but it's few and far between at the moment. They need to get more of these opportunities in the front third to get themselves back in this game.
A couple of times we have seen Sekenes isolated with a defender. He's reduced a chance for them. Get him in that position more often. Bayliss is one of those big switches out to the far side, cut off by Nakano. Japanese fullback's been as tidy as ever. Sydney United supporters trying to lift their side again as we tick into the final half hour of this game.
It'll be interesting to see who Peter Sekenes takes off to make these changes and who he brings in. Like we said, he's got a couple attacking options there in Busek, Yona and El Helu. Who does he go for? Who does he take out is the other question.
Wells. De Oliveira was in an offside position and close enough to affect play, so flagged by Ethan Zvargulis, carrying the flag on the near side today.
Zvargulis, who was busy last night as well at the United Sports Centre, refereeing Football League 1 game between Bulls and Bankstown City Lions.
One of the few who does both, isn't he, Nico?
Yeah, that's right.
Is George Daniel down the left-hand side, spinning it in towards Sekenes, whose touch has given him a yard. Pavlicic closes it off. Quickly off his line. Touch probably just a little heavier than he would have liked, but again, Damien Sekenes looking more threatening in the last 5 minutes.
I think it's safe to say that Damien Sekenes won't be one to come off.
Jennings wanted the decision his way. It was a half-hearted appeal, I have to say. Yes, he'd stolen more than a couple of yards there, hadn't he?
But he also wanted to take that throw a lot quicker, and I know this might be a bit of a criticism, but This is why football clubs should try and use ball boys that are a little bit older, that understand the game, and it's actually a good learning experience putting kids as ball boys in the ages 11 and 12 to teach them just about when you need to slow the game down, when you need to speed the game up. Boys below us look a little younger at the moment and didn't quite understand how quick Jesic and why Jesic wanted to play that ball so fast.
Nice play from Sydney United. They have had a good few passages like that over the course of the afternoon. De Oliveira under-hitting his switch. Picked off by Daniel, who ran himself into trouble. Jennings releasing Wells. Mlinaric bails out Daniel.
Great challenge there from Mlinaric. He had to make it. Wells was really winding up that right foot. Would have been a very dangerous situation for Marconi, and perhaps the end of the game had he been able to get a shot off.
I don't see Daniel turning the ball over like that as cheaply as he did there too often. Another who's just not had the going fall his way so far today, wearing Marconi sky blue. Our call is being soundtracked by the Sydney United fans at the moment. They've got plenty to sing about. Their team 25 minutes from toppling their rivals and doing the double over them for the first time in the NPL era, just as Marconi did to them a year ago. Switch of play is cut off by Rule. Jennings still full of running, drops the ball high in the air and out of play. So no movements on either bench just yet. Players are up, warming up, but none seeming as though they're ready to join us in the immediate future. Maya dropped to most players are dictating number 6.
Just as you say that, I think Tomoki Wada will be the first one to come on for United.
Scored a superb free kick last week against Rockdale. Probably a little unlucky to fall out of the starting side today. Speaks to the depth that Sydney United have available.
And again, they got that midweek cup clash, so they'll be looking to rest as many players as they can and have everyone as fresh as possible for the run home in the league as well. 6 games to go after this. Lots on the line. Even if they can't catch the top 2, still finishing in 3rd place means a home semi-final or qualifying final. I think it's what it's called these days, the 3v6 match. So still a bit on the line there for them as well.
Maya readies himself with 4 right on the edge of the area. Sekenis joining late. Rose's header only as far as Blair. He went down under a challenge. I think that's a rather ambitious appeal for a penalty. He strode through the American, who was just a little off balance as he struck it.
And I've got to admit, I looked at Rowan Fisher's hands for a moment. It looked as though he was going to point to the spot, but it was a big hand movement of no. But again, Quinton Blair showing us that he's not a goal scorer at the moment.
He's got the bit between his teeth today, though, hasn't he?
2 shots.
A couple of cracks.
Not getting closer, though.
Oh, I beg to differ. The first wasn't the most impressive, was it? Not being unkind to the American. Proficiencies lie in other areas. Rose. Forward for Jennings. And taken up by Chop, whose endeavour was well noted, but the ball forward's misplaced. This is the sort of state of game at the moment which suits Sydney United down to a T. Final quarter of the game we're into now. Marconi not looking closer to an equaliser, but that can all change in a moment like this. Bayless. Jesic, who's been studious in his work down the left today. Been an adjustment that Marconi have made over the last couple of weeks to accommodate Armson further up the pitch. Hasn't worked quite as well as it had last week today. By fouling De Oliveira. 2 very similar players in terms of their energy and output, but decision's gone De Oliveira's way again. He's been closer to his best than he has been over the last couple of weeks. after a real purple patch through the middle of June where he just seemed to be scoring goals for fun. Jennings again a willing runner, this time met by Lenaric. And now we do have our first changes of the game, and it's Tommy Ozanic who's going to be introduced, so it'll be a little bit of a rejig in the attacking half of the field here for Miro Vlastelica, but it's Farakoko who's making way with 20 minutes to go. Pretty solid afternoon's work, and he takes a healthy hand from those travelling Sydney United supporters.
Yeah, Tommy Ozanic, who almost scored the goal of 2026 in that Waratah Cup final against Apia. That would have been some goal, but Carlos de Oliveira will move into a more attacking position on the left wing. Ozanic will slot into his role in the midfield. We'll see how that changes things for the remaining 20 minutes.
And Ozanic, you mention it, Nicola, has a bit more of a taste for goals this season, even when he's been playing 20s, than has been the case in most of his junior career. 6 goals across all competitions this season. It's most in any individual year I could find recorded. Rule just gave Joel Wade a little bit of a heart flutter as that ball was floated deep, ultimately beyond him.
Yeah, lots of positivity about Ozanic coming from the Sydney United camp. Lots of chatter that he's the next big talent to come out of there. Not a lot of emotion, apparently, from what we're led to believe. But definitely someone that shows a lot of promise.
That can hold young players in good stead sometimes.
Absolutely. These days, it's tough to find disciplined players.
So Jennings and Daniel come together before the ball was even rolled towards them. Now they face to face. It's Bayliss again emerging with the ball. Marconi have looked pretty comfortable stopping Sydney United attacks in the second half. They're struggling to generate any meaningful ones of their own, though. Rose, as he so often has, there to screen in front of his back line. Now he's got Ozanic to support him in that position. Long ball from Rule, evades Jennings.
Busek and Yona will soon enter the fray for Marconi. Two very attacking substitutions for Peter Tsekenis. They'll be looking to make an immediate impact into the game. Yona with his pace, Busek with his ability to score from range as well.
Again, holding Tsekenis through that entire little bit of play, but it's strong hold up from Marconi's number 9. Found Jesic, who doesn't really have a forward option. Lenaric calls for the ball. Hand goes up from Jesic, just out of options beyond him at the minute. We'll try the right-hand side, where Maya's lively.
Hasn't seen much of the ball either, Franco Maya, in this second half, so wouldn't be surprised if Tsekenis changes both his left and right wingers.
He's only really been able to get on the ball in these positions. He's talented enough to make a difference from there, but it's not quite as far forward as I'm sure Marconi would like. Tsekenis dumps Rule to the ground. Was lead again by Sydney United. So this game has followed an awfully familiar pattern. It's almost been a mirror in terms of how the game was played on Easter Monday at Edenza Park. Marconi perhaps with a little more possession than they had that day, but they've similarly struggled to create consistent opportunities. Bernie. Can he unpick the lock? Not with a ball like that. Nakano happy to send it over onto the back pitch. Now the changes come that Nicola mentioned. So our final words from Papotis to Sunday Yona and Mate Busek. And as predicted, Franco Maya is the first removed. It looks as though Jesic is going to make way as well. He hands the captain's armband off to Anton Lenaric. A little bit more running power coming from the left. Can't add a 7th goal in these clashes between Sydney United and Marconi today. Been well held by Bailey Rule and Koya Nakano, the 2 Marconi wingers. Yona straight onto the ball from the throw, but not able to keep it in play. There's a little slip from Pat Talecki, the assistant as well. It's a goal kick to Sydney United.
He copped a bit of stick as well from the Marconi substitutes warming up behind him.
So we've got beautiful conditions today in Sydney, but you're seeing players slip underfoot every now and then, referees as well on that occasion, because we have wet weather basically all the way through the week here in Sydney. Though the pitch looks firm on top, it's pretty soft underfoot. Got to be sure of your footing. Jennings playing the ball across the face of goal, easily cut out by wind dust. Rule and Rose combining nicely. All misplayed up towards Wells though, and Wade will be happy to regather from the goal kick. 15 minutes to play. Marconi are running out of time to put the foot down. We had fleeting moments in this second half where there's been real promise. Ball to Sekenis, still full of running in the dying stages. Faced by 3 Sydney United defenders, beats all of them, gets into the area. Here's the chance, Busek! Turned away by Pavlicic. Again, Sekenis the creator. And the substitute couldn't put the ball away, forces Pavlicic into a sharp save at his near post.
What a save from Pavlicic, and that is why we say he is one of the best keepers in the competition. Not an easy save at all. Bit of credit has to go to Sekenis as well. What a run, but Pavlicic was late-sighted as by that. Busek's strike was perfect almost.
He's to deliver the follow-up corner. It's a dangerous one towards Yona. I think Rose got the telling head on the ball.
Actually thought Yona headed it out.
Well, we're both very close to it, weren't they? You might well be right. And now there's a chance for Sydney United to go in counter-attack with Wells, who ducks inside one, is dragged back by Bayliss. And the first yellow card of the afternoon is flashed in the direction of James Bayliss.
I think that was a smart foul from Bayliss, had to make it. You don't want to give Wells the space on his left foot. He has the ability to score from anywhere once he cuts onto the left. So a smart foul from Bayliss, but now Marconi have some more defending to do.
Just as they had their most promising moment of the half, much like in the first, Sydney United have got something to answer with in counter-attack. Moving the ball forward so quickly, and the running power of Wells has been a consistent outlet. Another change to shortly follow from a Sydney United perspective. It's as though Gabriel Tillo is going to join the fray. This is exactly the sort of game he'll enjoy. De Oliveira with 3 facing him in the wall, and he goes short to Jennings, who wants to deliver near post. Stretching was classic. Ball comes to a naught, and now Tillo will have the chance to be introduced. So it's going to be Jennings, I think, who's pulled off for him.
Leroy Jennings' last hurrah of the afternoon just there, almost created a goal for United. And like you said, this point of the game where legs are tiring on a pretty heavy pitch, you're sending someone like Gabriel Tillo out to run at you. It's not easy whatsoever. Looks like they're making a double change as well. I think Krislovic will be coming on as well.
It's another threat to perhaps hold the ball up as well.
And run at you.
Yeah, that's right. He's got that power.
Difficult player to deal with as a defender. Doesn't stop running all game. Always putting the defence under pressure.
Carlos de Oliveira, the other player who's been removed. Be another little rejig. Rov Lastalitsa just looking to manage his way to the end of the game, and Krislovic has a first touch, which is fairly easily dealt with by Marconi. Let's see it trickle over the byline.
Looks as though Marconi will be making their change as well. Ahmed El Helou being readied on the bench, which could I wouldn't be surprised here if Marconi were to withdraw a midfielder and throw an extra man up top for the remaining 10 minutes of this one and try and grab that point. Time is definitely running out now.
Sydney United trying to claim a first win at this venue since 2015. They are 10 minutes away. Marconi trying to deny them that joy and ensure they stay 4 points clear at the top of the league. Time is running out very, very quickly, if that's to be the case, though.
Franco Parisi and RPL Leichhardt will be sitting at home, very, very happy, having got the job done yesterday. Put the pressure on Marconi before balls kicked today, so they did their job, and at the moment, United doing the job for them as well.
Busek not able to get the ball in play. Just shows you how difficult it is to win premierships. Marconi have been on this sterling run, not lost in more than 3 months in league football, and still they'll be just a solitary point clear. James Baylor's been removed, and El Helu, as Nicola mentioned, is the man being brought on. Something for Yoda to chase, and his leaping ability got him above Nakano, cleared by McGing. Marconi starting to come with a little more vengeance in the final 10 minutes here.
As I suspected, Jack Armson's dropped deeper in beside Blair. El Helu's gone up top next to Tsekenis. It's a 4-4-2 to finish the game off. I applaud that from Peter Tsekenis, giving it a right old go.
Lenaric is going to have his say as well, having a little adventure, running forward, wide for Busek. Gets into the box, only found Glasic's head. Lenaric for Daniel. George Daniel for Marconi. Oh my goodness. A whisker away from finding the corner. A very unlikely source as well.
Yeah, I have to say the first ball from Busek was pretty disappointing, really. Expected a bit more from that area. Then the shot from George Daniel looked as though it might just creep in the far post. Went just wide in the end. United survived, but encouraging again. With what time's left, Marconi need to start challenging. They need to start putting pressure on Pavlicic.
We're starting to do that. We've seen him turn away one effort and a ball whistle across the face of his net just then. Chances are building. Busek's been a positive influence since coming on. Tsekenis starting to the left. Cut off by Ozanic. And kept his head as well, and then found the release ball through Chop, who's beaten Lenaric to the ball, hacked down by Marconi's stand-in skipper, and Ozanic leading the appeals for a yellow card, but Rowan Fisher waves those away this time.
Yeah, very surprised there was no card out there. Lots of space in behind. Mlinaric had Chop, got to that ball. It's a smart foul for Mlinaric. You saw he committed himself too much and did enough to bring Chop down. But again, United have another chance now to put Marconi under more pressure. Another set piece to contend with. Stay disciplined defensively. You can see Jack Armson telling Sunday Yona to stay high in case of that quick transition attack. They can put United under pressure themselves.
As much as this is a positive attacking opportunity for Sydney United, it's eating precious time off the clock down the other end as well.
United looking to make a defensive change as well. Adrian Vlastelica preparing to come on to shore things up. We've seen him do this a few times this year as well in the final minutes of games.
Did it in the cup final to great success. Apia barely had a sniff in the final 10 minutes of that game. And the change is coming now. So Vlastelica on for Chop, who's done his work. What a terrific first start it's been in Sydney United colours for him. Trusted in a big game by Miro Vlastelica, and that faith has been repaid as Wells delivers. Didn't beat the first man in Daniel, but he's going to get a second bite here. Clever little touch to beat Busek, and then stumbled of his own accord by the looks of things. Ball ricochets out to El Helu, turned over by Blair, of all people. Sydney United have got numbers. Wells goes himself. Well, he's full of confidence. Why wouldn't he? 2 goals in a cup final a couple of midweeks ago. Goal today that separates the two teams on 35 minutes. That didn't trouble Joel Wade.
But again, we see there on this side of the pitch just how heavy the pitch actually is here. How many players have slipped over or have been unable to control the ball.
So Kenneth won the header, but there was no blue shirts there to contest the knockdown. And Rule, who's full of confidence, not able to keep that ball in play. This result holds. Wells is going to join some pretty famous names in the history of the Sydney United Football Club. The last time they won here 11 years ago. Double that day to Rob Molesky. Richie Cardozo was on the score sheet as well. One Kyle Chimenti was a youngster in the squad that day. We are going back a fair way. Nicola, this is a day in Sydney United history of which they've had a few in terms of winning silverware, but victory over your close rivals in such an important game is something that will be just as sweet.
I think it's also a mental advantage that United will take into finals football. We know there's a high chance they'll play each other again. And it'll probably be here if they are to play. And knowing that they won the last fixture between the two teams on this same pitch will go a long way to giving them confidence they can do it again.
All hands on deck for Sydney United defensively at the moment. See almost everyone. Krislovic in shot there is the only one in front of the ball before it was thrown in by Daniel more than 20 yards from his byline, his attacking byline. Wade is almost on halfway as he fires this ball downfield. Cut out by Rule. Knocked back by Daniel. Busek's touch was a little loose, and Rose is there to cut out the danger. Gabby Tillo's got space. It was shut down quickly by Windust. Nice touch from Sekenis, away from Vlastelica. Two sons of the coaches colliding. And McGing sweeping the ball away. Windust as the sun disappears over the horizon here at Marconi. Mlinaric's ball is hopeful, cleared by Glassic. One back by Mlinaric. And El Helu allowed to turn. He's into the area. Ahmed El Helu. He did well. Glassic diving back. Marconi corner. Or it's just a throw, in fact. Just a throw.
El Helu did so well then. I just feel as though he could have done a little bit better with the pass. The run was fine, the pass not so much. Marconi still have the ball again.
Mlinaric's cross, it's deep. Windust has joined the attack. All falls to his feet now. Oh. Step over was a little disconcerting. Probably more for him than the defence. He's kept the attack alive though. Busek. Daniel. Fired one shot in anger. Running at Rule. The futsal skills on show there from Daniel. His pass didn't match the attacking touches though.
Just quietly, that's surely a fine for Cameron Windust.
Have the step over licence taken off him. Mlinaric rides one challenge. Yona for Bernie. His little touch behind his foot was sweeter. Armson's delivery. And Pavlicic commanding in his area. Brilliant piece of goalkeeping. And McGing helped him out. He really showed Windust off the ball. Sydney United's defence unbent.
I was just going to say, we really haven't seen Tyrone Burney forward at all in the second half. And they've really stifled him down that right-hand flank. Sydney United's defensive work there from their left-back, Nakano, has been excellent all game. He's had the support as well when required. Really allowed Burney to get as forward as he did in the first half. And we're into the 90th minute now. It'll be interesting to see how much time's added on. I can't think there'll be more than 3 or 4 minutes, so not much time left for Marconi to try and save anything from this game.
Peter Sekenis' record in this fixture at this ground is unblemished. That might be until this afternoon. It's taken a pretty superb performance from Sydney United to get there. Marconi not at their free-flowing best in attack. And United, the key has been, Nicola, the fact that they've not been caught in their own half by the press of Marconi whatsoever today. It's a trap so many fall into when they arrive here.
I think they've just been really disciplined about what they do at both ends of the park. They've been the better team today. Haven't been brilliant, but they've been good enough to get the points.
Well, there's a lot of blue shirts flying forward. Classic standing at the back of the pack, just sweeping the ball away. It's been efficient, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think that's the best way to sum up this performance, really, from Sydney United. Not spectacular, efficient. Enough done to come away with it. But again, there's still some time left. 6 minutes. Wow. Did not expect that.
Well, that's given the Marconi faithful who've hung around some hope. And there are still a good number around the stadium. The team haven't lost belief. Lenaric directing traffic as he fires the ball forward again. Sekenis blocked off by Vlastelica. Cleared by Glasic. As far as Blair.
NPL's version of Fergie time, Tseka time.
Got a late goal in them. They need one here. Even a point would be precious. It would keep them 3 clear of Apia rather than just the... Well, keep them 2 clear of Apia rather than just the solitary point. Playing the ball off is Bernie. Armson's ball misdirected. There's another who hasn't really made his mark on this game. Jack Armson now is being asked to track back and cut off Wells. There's sort of 6 in a line in an attacking sense, and Lenaric is not going to stuff around with things. Just get everybody up the other end. Vlastelica brave. Falls to the feet of Armson. Sekenis dropping deep so he can try and dictate. Can he run at the players? Still Damien Sekenis. Well, he was trying to play creator there. Again, there's pleas for a decision against Alden Pavlicic, but he sort of just shifted the ball to one side, hadn't he? Oh, and he's found Tillo on the release. He's got the right side of Bernie from an attacking perspective. A good recovery from TJ. Just watching back that funny little one for Adam Pavlicic.
I think he got away with one there, Mulch. Definitely grabbed the ball with both hands and just seemed to throw it down into that corner.
Would have been a brave referee to make that decision at this stage of this fixture.
Definitely seriously thought about it.
Zanic dragged to the turf by Windust, which brings Bronx cheers from the Sydney United support. But the team see off another Marconi raid. There's some resignation in the body language of the Marconi players. They'll keep fighting until the end, but perhaps just a sneaking feeling it's not going to be their afternoon. Came in as favourites today. Probably haven't played to their best, and Sydney United have been able to stifle them in the key areas. Bernie, one last chance. Beat Vlastelica to the ball. El Helu, it's been good since coming on. Sekenis kept his feet. And now Bernie! Did it take a touch on the way through? No, it didn't. Was that the moment for Marconi?
We spoke about the determination will get you points, and it almost did there. Tyrone Bernie's first challenge put everything on the line to win that sliding tackle, and they fought hard, Sekenis and Bernie again, to create themselves the opportunity. But really, Tyrone Bernie, I feel like he should have at least got something out of that shot, whether it's a corner or a shot on target. In the end, nothing. Goal kick for United.
Had a couple of moments fall to the fullbacks in the second half of this game, haven't they? George Daniel flashed one across the face. Haven't been without chances, Marconi, but have been without clear-cut ones. Shots seem to have been taken off balance or with plenty of pressure. Sekenis' efforts in the first half, which forced a save from Pavlicic, is probably the closest they've come outside the goalmouth scramble on about 15 minutes. Sydney United still fighting and scrapping to cling on to this lead. Not only a famous 3 points, somewhat historic one as well.
Oh, Mirov Lastelica turning it up again. Bit of a back heel this time.
He's enjoying the occasion, why wouldn't he? A little bit of stress on his face in the final minute, or what should be that of stoppage time. Sekenis. Rule dispossesses. And Blair did well not to touch the ball and ensure that the throw-in went his way. Sekenis now playing provider. Whips it in, El Helu got a touch.
Smart flick from El Helu.
Got a couple of good ones since coming on, hasn't he? Lonaric. Blair. Route 1 staff. It's flicked on by Burney. Cleared away by guess who, Michael Glassick. And Tillo can run clear. Sydney United fans love that. And Lonaric forced to knock the ball over the touchline. That's a net win for Sydney United. They are nearly there. The title race turning again here on a sunny Sunday in the southwest of Sydney.
For how many times this year we thought that something was settled and we've been taken by surprise again. We thought the premiership was almost done and dusted.
It certainly is not. Marconi dealt a massive blow by Sydney United on their home pitch. Held scoreless for the second time by their great rivals this season. A first win here since 2015 for the famous old football club from down the road. And this one hurts. Considering the reaction of the Marconi players, still a point clear of Apia at the end of the afternoon, but beaten here on their own patch. It finishes Stallions 0, Sydney United 1.
Well, Alex Molchanov, we have a premiership race on now with 6 games to go. It's what we wanted. We thought it was going to be a 2-horse race. Sydney United's thrown their name in the hat now to a real efficient performance, as we called it throughout the call. They deserved the 3 points. They came here, they got what they needed to. A beautiful goal by Mason Wells in the first half. Enough in the end for all 3 points. And they'll be singing all the way back to Adenza Park.
Indeed they will. Sydney United back home on Wednesday for the Australian Cup clash with the Central Coast Mariners before a trip to Penshurst Park to take on St George City next Saturday night. They are right back in the premiership race themselves, just 4 points behind the Stallions at the end of the weekend, and Marconi get back on the horse to take on the SD Raiders next Saturday. That's it for us from the Palace. It's finished. Marconi 0, Sydney United 1.